You can learn to appreciate me when it all remains the same. That you ain't never gonna change, never gonna change, never gonna change. My baby, come on, baby. And my heart can't take no more. No more. See my days are cold without you.
Hi everybody, welcome back. This is the Grace Gorgeous show. Grace Gorgeous chatting, y'all. Hi y'all. So I'll put a video today. So this is a story time how I met T and the spirits that we had. So we used to talk, but we don't really talk no more. I guess after that, the spirits that we had. So y'all gonna definitely know the full one with that. So it's something I get into. So let's get into it. So please like, comment, subscribe, and notification bell. Tell a friend, check out my channel. There'll be more videos coming, more story time, more vlogs, more everything on this channel. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot of story times in the past that did happen, and yeah, a good story time. I was like, yeah, might need that story time. This is a good story time. So, yeah, this actually is a good story time, how this story time was. I'll get into it. So, basically this story takes back in like 2015 back then. So this story takes back a while back in 2015. And, around then, the story takes back then, y'all. The story does take back then. And, yeah, so back then, I was very skinny, which I was very skinny. I went to this school, it's somewhere I wanted to go. It was somewhere that my cousin was going, but then he graduated from that school. So I decided to go. It was school for co-op tech education. I will put it down in the description for the school. They actually do, I think they actually do from 16 to 21, or I don't know what's the age limit, but I think back then it was 16 or 20. Back then it was like 16 to 20 or 16 to 18. It was one of them that you had to be young, like you had to be a teenager to get in that school. I don't know the school that ends, that it stopped at. I'm not really sure, but it had to be one of those brackets. It couldn't pass those brackets back then. So yeah, back then, like I said, I went to that school that I actually told my mother and my sister I wanted to go to that school and stuff like that. I actually did a tour. It was a tour I went by myself. And they were showing us different things. They actually do hair, cars, cooking. I don't know what else they did. I just know those three. They could have more stuff now. I don't know if it was the same teachers back then, but I mean now, like I don't know if it's been now, but back then, the teachers was, one of the teachers was funny but serious, and the other one was just straight serious, like. And then it's like, if you made, it was basically, I'm gonna get into the story, but it was one guy, cause I did cooking, so it was one guy that would tell us, you know, if y'all wanna know how to cook, just go to your parents. Y'all can learn from your parents, stuff like that. And even it was a skinny guy, cause first you had to go to one class, it was the skinny guy. He made a lot of jokes and he would laugh like that. And then, like, when it was time to be serious, he was like, what's funny? Like, he would have a serious face, like, what's funny? But then when you go to the other class, it's nothing. It was, like, so boring. Because it wasn't fun with the first class. The second class, it was, like, a big, heavyset guy. And he was just, like, read, then you had to write mad fast, write down notes. Like, you couldn't write slow to write it. No. He gave you a short minute time, like, and he would say, we miss, and copy somebody else. We don't got all day. And, like, he was one of those, and I'm like, so that's why I get my hands so writing fast, because the experience of teachers, and with them, they didn't play. So, some people would just take pictures. They would actually take pictures. Like, yeah, you can take pictures. So, most of us would just take pictures, because he wouldn't allow us to, every time we write, he would have like a limit to do. And then like he would write his agreements on the board, and then we had to copy it and then do it. And I'm like, what the hell? What is this? So a lot of things I was like, oh. Second guy, like I said, he was heaven set. He did honestly didn't like jokes like that. He wasn't like we would all be laughing. It was so funny. And then he actually told a joke to the guy, and then the teacher like, I don't get it. Like he was those type of guys. You couldn't make him laugh. Like he would look at it like, that's not funny. Like, and then he like, you know what's funny? There's this test. So he was a person that you can't make him laugh, and even it was a couple people that did not like him. Like when we all came there, he had us like washing clothes, cooking, and he would pick somebody that would like wash clothes and stuff like that. So we all had to wash everybody's uniform and put it in there and stuff like that. But he was a good teacher, which he had his nice days and his mean days, which he did. But some of the kids did not come to that school. Some of the kids did not come back to that guy class. They did not, because they did not like him. And there was a couple of the first I had in the first one, which I'm gonna tell a story. I'm gonna get to the story. I'm gonna tell. Let me just explain this, because it's gonna connect to the story. That's what I'm explaining now. But a couple of guys in there that wanted to leave. That's what I'm saying. A couple guys that wanted to leave. But I explained a little bit, not too much, but it's gonna explain why I'm explaining all this now. So y'all, we about to get into it, and yeah, so I'm gonna explain everything on the next slide. So stay tuned, y'all. On the next slide right here, so you're about to get into the story time, how I met T, whole story of how we became who we are. So I'm about to get into it. So as you know, as this story goes, this goes back to the other story time where I met Jason and how I met T too. So, but that story was just about Jason. But this story is about T, which it goes back to, I met both of them in the same school, y'all. Okay, I met them both in the same school. I know. Like, you met both of them in the same school? Yes, I did. Met both of them in the same school. So like, I always was meeting people when I went to different places. And that one time I didn't meet nobody. But yeah, it's like something I guess can't help. I just meet everybody that finds something that's in common to them. But anyway, so I went to a school called Tech. I went there, I saw the tour and stuff, So basically I explained in the intro, which y'all gonna see, I explained that. And I went in there, and then I forgot the day that was the first day. I think it was in September when it was still hot. It was September when I went to apply. I believe it was September, y'all. So I went in there, and like I said, it was a skinny guy, and he made jokes, and he would talk about his wife, and then he taught us how to use forks and spoons, y'all. Like, he basically taught us stuff that was fancy. Like, this is too fancy. He said, how is this too fancy? And even I thought it was fancy too, because it's something that we was not used to. But he had all of us spread out and had forks and had us remember the forks and had us taking tests. So it's like, all of us is not going to remember the different type of forks we had to use. So it was so much forks that he was teaching us. We're not going to get this stuff down pat. We're not going to remember X, Y, and Z yet. So after that, we was chatting and stuff, So after the days go by, everybody's, don't really know each other like that, So after days go by, of course, I was going to that school in the afternoon. I was going to that school, then I was going to my high school. So I was going to 2 schools. So technically it was 3 schools, but that's gonna be for a different day, guys. That's gonna be a different day. But it was 2 schools. It was my school, then it was that school in the afternoon. So it was I had to be there from 12 to 3. So that school was from 12 to 3. So once I got out, my my schedule. I had to leave and go to that school in the afternoon because it was from 12 to 3. So, which the school knew that and I showed them it. So I went there, stuff like that. I went there and, but that's just a little backstory of, just in case if I flip-flop it. But just let y'all know. But let me get to the story. So I'm like, okay. So when we got there, so everybody didn't know each other, something like that. So after days go by, I started watching wrestling. Cause y'all, to this day, I don't watch wrestling how I used to watch wrestling. But back then, I used to watch it constantly with my sister, which I did. And we used to watch wrestling like Monday Night Raw, SmackDown back then. Cause it was so good back then, which it was really good. But now I don't even watch it, which I don't, cause it's just like less kind of boring. Cause not excited back then. But back then I was watching wrestling and stuff like that, And it was a day that teacher left out and I was watching wrestling, So one of the guys, we gonna call him E. So E was like, "You watching wrestling?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm watching wrestling." So T was like, so like I said, from the last video, me and T did connect because we was both watching wrestling. So T was like, so T looking at me and I'm like, what's wrong? Because remember, everybody got to know each other's names and stuff like that. But so which all that goes back to the first one, but we're gonna skip it. But yeah, T was looking at me like, I didn't know you watched wrestling. I'm like, yeah, I watch wrestling. So that's when T came like, I watch wrestling too. What's wrong with that? He was like, nothing's wrong with it. I didn't think a girl like her would watch wrestling. I would think her would be, watching some female shows or something like that. He said, well, I said, well, I've been watching wrestling ever since I was younger. And he was like, me too. I watch wrestling. I'm like, oh, I didn't know this is something in common. So we both just chatted up about wrestling, and then she asked me who was my favorite wrestler. I was like, man, what? Hers was Roman Reigns. I was like, I don't like him. So she was like, why you don't like him? And stuff like that. I was like, because he does too much what he does. To this day, he does too much. Like, they have him be two different characters. And it's like, you doing too much with him. Y'all feel what I'm saying. He's doing too much. So I was like, nah. So I was like, so I would ask her a question. I said, what happened when Wayne got together? They said, it's going to be a problem then. So I said, well, it's going to be a problem. So, we would talk about wrestling, and then half the time, like, she would come in late and cook up her ass, and we would be chatting and stuff like that. We would give her the dishes and stuff like that. So, and then she was like, did you watch wrestling? I was like, yeah. And she was like, no talking. This supposed to be a movie. With halftime, people put on a movie once in a while. He was like, no talking. All y'all gonna put on that paper. So after that, we would just be. I'll take out my notebook and I'll write something on that paper, and she would write something, and then he was like, y'all passing up notes? I was like, we like, no, we just talking about wrestling, but we can't talk out loud because of teachers. So one of the guys was like, what are y'all talking about? Wait, I want to know what's on that paper. I was like, mind y'all business. He was like, yeah, mind y'all business. Got so into our conversation. So after that, he was like, yeah, like they was just so focused to see what was on that paper, and we just like, yo, mind y'all business. Like, y'all don't watch it, so why is it important for us to write something on that paper? So after that, that's when I was like, okay, so yeah. After that, I'm like, alright, so that's when we was just having a phone conversation, which we did. We had a phone conversation. So when it came to outside, because we left out 3 o'clock. So when it's time to go outside, so she was like, what you do out here? I was like, well, I usually hang out with my friends, go to parties or do something fun and stuff like that. Like, I'm a big party person. Like, I want to have fun and stuff. So she was like, okay, I get that and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, because it might be, So after that, that's when I was like, all right. So after that, she's like, okay, I know what you should do. So she was like, well, I like girls and guys. Like, I'm bisexual, so I like both. I usually do my 1s and 2s, with girls and stuff. So she would tell me about only girl she had a fight with. She did stuff with them, but she would fight them and stuff like that. I guess like they would like make her mad and stuff like that, and she would fight them. And she was like, some of it was about guys, and that some of them was trying to bully her and stuff like that, And it's like, case might be. I'm like, okay. So we was just chatting it up, having a good conversation, how case might be. So I'm like, okay. So as time go on, we both exchanged like Facebooks, and she would text me on Facebook like, and then it was a couple of days, but I wouldn't come, and she's like, "Girl, where you at?" I said, "I'm sick. I don't feel good." She's like, "Girl, you missed it. You should have came to class." I was like, "I didn't." I said, "I come tomorrow." I would come the next day, and she was like, "Hey, girl." So she said, "Oh my God." She said, "You should have came yesterday. I was missing my wrestling partner." I was like, "I'm so used to talking to you about wrestling." I said, "Yeah, but you gotta understand when I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm not coming in." So after that, she was like, "All right, I feel you." So, as days go by, we chatting, we was chatting for like a couple of days, but we still kept in contact. Through the years, we still kept in contact. So as days going by, we would chat, and then it was like the last day, I think after next year in 2026, it was like last year that we had to leave to go to a different class, which is the other side. So it was the last day in which she was, "I'm gonna miss you because we're not gonna have this much fun. Next class might be kind of fun, but going to show." He's like, "How would you know it might be this and that?" And I'm just like, mind your business. We're not talking about you here. So, everybody was just like, and all of us had a date to come and stuff like that, So, which we all said it's probably not going to be the same that class, which is not, but we did go visit that class, and we saw how most of the kids wasn't having fun. Like, they were just boring and stuff. It wasn't exciting or anything like that. So, yeah, then most of the students was coming late. It was one guy that came late. I said, that's a different time. But, which that is a whole different time. A whole different time about that situation. But after that, that's when I was like, okay. Then after that, I was like, all right. So we went in there. We went in there. We saw everything. This was before the last day that the teacher gave us papers to go to the other teacher. So it was kind of nice, but we figured we wasn't gonna enjoy it, which we didn't. We didn't enjoy. A couple people did not show up again because they didn't like the teacher. They didn't. So it was more as you see, so it was crowded. But then as days go by, it was just like a couple of us. It wasn't a lot of us no more. Everybody was just gone because they didn't like it. It wasn't fun as the first one. So I kind of get why they didn't stay for long. So after that, I'm just like, I should have left myself. I don't know why I stayed all the way till the summertime. I should have left when I came back in that class neither. But, things happen. So, after that, I'm like, all right. After some time go by, T hits me up. I think it was 2016, 2017. No, 2017. She did not hit me up. I'm lying. She did not hit me up 2017. But it was around 2016 where my friend T hit me up. So she hit me up and said, "Hey girl, what you doing?" I was like, "I ain't doing nothing, just with my male friend." So she was like, "Well, come to this bowling alley. It's in the Bronx." So I was like, "Okay." So I said, "Ask my male friend." So I asked my male friend. He was like, "Sure." He said, "Where is it?" He said, "The Bronx." I was like, "Yeah." So I was like, he's like, all right. So at first he was about to skip this because he didn't want to go too far. But I sent the ad and he put in his Cessna ride. So he put it in, we got there. They was a little bit late, but they still came. So, it was actually her and her man. And her man was tall, which he was tall. But he wasn't cute. He was not cute at all, nothing like that. But I was like, if it's your taste, it was your taste. She was calling him her husband and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, how you doing? And stuff like that, I'm not a person who's gonna ruin nobody's relationship or anything like that. Like, that's your man, you know. So I was like, okay. So we doing bowling, had a good time, you know, just everybody enjoying themselves. So after that, you know, I had to use the bathroom. She came with me in the bathroom. So that she's like, girl, how you been? I said, it's been good, stuff like that, you know. Us just talking and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, we just talked about, while it was two people in the stall. So when one came out, I went in there. She came in there behind me. It was basically a big stall. We was in a big stall. So I came in there, used the bathroom, you know, and she used the bathroom. So I'm putting my pants up. So I'm putting my pants up. She looking at my kitty, and I was like, that's a beautiful kitty. I'm like, well, thank you. Like, I'm getting like, is this a signal for me? Like, I'm giving her a love, like, are you giving me a signal? But I was like, she probably not. I said, she probably is. So, yeah, I'm washing my hands of that. She used the bathroom. I said, God, when I'm about to leave, I see my out there. I was like, okay. So we went out there, chat, had a good time, stuff like that. They was going home. You know, we did a couple of arcade games in there. Then after that, we went home. Then, you know, so, you know, me and my girlfriend was talking, and then she was like, her man ain't that cute. I was like, I understand. I was like, he's not, but, and that's her taste, I can't judge. So she was like, well, so then she was like, so he like, you didn't pick up the sign? I was like, what sign? He was like, she was giving you like she liked you sign. I was like, no, I was just chatting. She didn't give me no sign. She was like, that girl give me like she liked you, like she wanna, you know. And I'm like, you sure? He's like, I was like, I said, I'm looking at him like, well, it did kind of give me some. It was in the bathroom. She was looking at my, you know, my kitty. She said, good. I think she liked it. And then I was like, I said, probably. I'm not sure. You know, because I didn't want to get two different mixed signals. Because, you know, you want to act. I wanted to act that she liked it. She'd be like, no, stuff like that. It's just that you cute. I haven't seen you, you know. So I really want to get two different mixed signals from her, which I didn't. So I was like, let me not get. So I was like, even though I felt like she liked me, but I didn't want to just automatically think that. So I kind of just brushed it off. So obviously I texted her, letting her we was in the house. I said, we in the house. All right, did you have fun? I was like, yeah, I had an amazing time. So me and my girlfriend just had fun enjoying ourselves. So the next day, I think 2 days, or even the next day or the 2 days, she had texted me. But when she texted me, she had put it me, a man, and her inside a group chat, three-way group chat. So I'm like, why did you make this group chat? So she was like, I want to ask you something. So I'm like, all right, what's up, T? So she like, well, I'm kind of scared to ask you. I'm like, why are you scared to ask me? So this part gonna continue on the next slide. So stay tuned, y'all. So y'all, we continue with it. So yes, so this part I was like, why are you scared to ask me? So she like, because I don't know how you would feel about it, you know, and you like my only friend, and I've been thinking about it ever since we met at that school, and you know, I don't know what's gonna go through your head. So I was like, I don't know if you might feel the same way. I was like, feel about what? Like, what are you asking me? Because she had already knew I was bisexual, which I did. So I was like, what are you asking me? She like, well, she was like, I'm just gonna come out there. I was like, okay, so tell me. So, you know, while, you know, we chatting, and of course her man wasn't with her. Her man was at her grandma's house. So it was like a couple messages she had to read, because we was talking a lot in that group chat, which was. But he didn't wake up until the afternoon and saw the message and the group chat to let y'all know. So, yeah, so back to what I'm gonna tell you at is that he like, okay, so, you know, she like, T like, okay, so, she said, well, you're beautiful, you're nice, you're sweet and all that, but I like you. And I'm like, okay, I like you as a friend, you know. So she was like, no, not like that. not like that, but Grace. I was like, then what do you mean? He said, so she said, well, I like you guys more to see if we can get the threesome going. So I was like, oh, that's what we're talking about here. So after that, I said, well, I like you too, but I'm not looking for no relationship. And I said, I don't mind doing a threesome, which I don't. I said, as long as y'all can show me y'all results, which that y'all got tested and all that, before I'm doing anything like that. She said, okay, I could do that. I said, all right. So, and she was like, well, my husband could do that too. So I was like, all right. So I was like, yeah, but I said, I'm not looking for no relationship. I said, I like you too more as that, which I told her, I said, I like you more as that, but I said, I'm not willing to go with this relationship, which I wasn't trying to go with the relationship, which I wasn't. I was still young, want to still have freedom, still want to party. So I wasn't ready just to be in relationships. I saw where it was going, which it did. I was like, I'm not looking for that to you. I'm sorry. But the threesome I could do. So she was like, all right. So when she understood, because I told her like I wasn't really ready for that just yet. So she was like, okay. So, which this when her man jumped in, it was like, oh snap, a threesome? So he said, I'm gonna finally get my threesome. All these years I've been asking you. I was like, well, Dawn, like, I guess he been asking you for this threesome and you didn't wanna give him an answer at a certain point or something like that. So I was like, okay, but this is what I'm saying in my head. I didn't say which I said it in my head. So she was like, yes, I'm finally asking my friend, can we do it? So I'm like, okay. So after that, I'm like, all right. So she asking me and stuff like that. So she was like, so we're gonna do threesome and stuff like that, you know. Basically, we just putting out details what we're gonna do with each other, stuff like that. You know, I said I'm looking forward to it and stuff like that, which I was looking forward of us doing something. So she was like, well, we're gonna buy the hotel and stuff, and we're gonna let you know where it's at. I was like, cool, that's fine. So, so they asked me, they was like, do you wanna do it in Brooklyn or the Bronx? I was like, I'm not traveling to no Bronx to get my behind in the house. So I was like, listen, we might always do it. So in Brooklyn, you okay doing it in Brooklyn? So she was like, yeah, or we could do it in Manhattan. I was like, either or, I'm just not traveling to no Bronx. So she was like, that's fine. So they picked a day, and I think it was a Saturday. They picked a Saturday, and they paid for the hotel, and in Manhattan. So they paid for it, you know. So they went and paid for the hotel. I was with them. Cause they had got there before I did, cause I took my on my way on the train. So they had got there before I did, and they was like, "That's all you hear?" I was like, "Yeah." So at the back of my head, I'm nervous because I'm like, I'm doing this with my friend that I know since the school. I don't know how she feels. I don't know how I feel, stuff like that. But we said everything in a text. I did tell her like I wanted to do it with her back then. Like I did like and I did want to do something with her. Like I did for many years, but I just never said that. That's what I actually told her. And she was kind of shocked, like, why you didn't express that to me? I was like, because I didn't know if you felt the same way. So she said, okay. I kind of get that because I kind of felt the same way. Yeah, we was on good terms and stuff like that. So, you know, so after that, we in the hotel. They had bottles, they had weed, you know, I took a little bit of sense because I wasn't trying to be drunk because I knew it was only for a couple hours we had it in there, yeah. A couple hours in the hotel, so it's not we had it for long, but it was like, it was basically a small bottle and some weed. And, yeah, so back then I was rolling my own blunt, you know. So, because I didn't like how he was rolling his blunts, I did not like it. So I was like, nah. So I actually rolled my own blunt, and I was actually like smoking and stuff like that. And she was smoking, he was smoking. So everybody was a little smoking, we was all drunk and stuff like that. So I went to use the bathroom. I said, hold up, let me use the bathroom. Make sure it's clean down there, you know, because I didn't want to do nothing and they wasn't looking fresh or anything like that. So I was like, let me go down there. So I went to the bathroom, used it, wiped myself, washed a little bit, you know. So after that, it was clean and stuff, you know, stuff like that. And this was the summertime, y'all. This was the summertime when we did it, which it was the summertime. Because it was hot. So it was the summertime. Y'all wonder where it was at in the summertime. So that's when he's like, let's get started, stuff like that. So I see her nerves. I'm like, why are you nervous? She's like, I don't know. I'm just nervous. I don't know how, you know, this is my, you know, me doing this with you, so I feel a bit nervous. So I said, okay, well, so I said, I'm gonna make it easy for you. So I started kissing her on her neck. I was kissing her neck, so like that. She was kissing her hand. So of course I started off to make it less stressful for her. So, you know, relief. Like I was making her feel relief. So I was kissing her neck, stuff like that, you know. Then I was kissing her tatas. So then it was going down and down. So after that, you know, she actually was bored down there. But I get what I'm saying. She was bored down there. I was bored too. Down there, okay? The two kitty was bored. That's what I'm saying. So basically I went down there, stuff like that, you know. So she was just feeling it. She was like, oh my God, this feels so good. And stuff like, she was just like, roll her eyes back. It was just like, yo, she just felt everything. So I'm like, okay. So I went down there. Oh, continue the story before I say I'm going to do it my last bit at the end. But I went down there, right? I was just like kissing her thighs and stuff like that. And then I was like licking it, like sucking it down there, just doing everything down there, you know. So while I'm going down there, she just like, oh my God, it feels so good. Like she just felt like she was heaven. Like literally felt like she was in heaven. And she was just like, like it was like she was just laid back like this, like this is the bed I'm on, and she just like laid back, and like she was enjoying the moment and stuff like that. But she was enjoying the moment, and you know, and while I'm just, you know, going down on her, stuff like that, a man came up behind me and stuck it in, right? Right. So I'm going, he stuck it in and stuff like that. I didn't feel anything, y'all. This man had like a wiener, which I didn't feel nothing. So it's like, what are you pleasing yourself with, man, sir? Because I'm not feeling anything, which I did not. I didn't feel anything from him. So I'm like, do she even feel something for him? Because I'm not feeling anything. So it was like, when I said it was small, but you couldn't feel anything. So I'm like, yeah, but I was so busy pleasing, I didn't want to stop. So, you know, I keep going, stuff like that, and then she started saying like, I love you, Grace, this feels so good. Like everything she kept saying, like, oh my God, Grace. Like she was just saying my name. And I'm just like, this is the first time somebody say my name. Like, this is the first time somebody actually say my name or me doing something. So I was just like, okay, she's just in that moment, or she just actually saying it. I'm like, is she saying, or she mean it, or she like, it was so much going on in my head. So after I finished, she came and stuff like that, you know, came by B. You know, he done got his ones and twos, but I didn't feel anything. So yeah, I didn't feel nothing. So I was like, all right. So after that, we switched, y'all. We switched. We back up. So like I said, we switched, stuff like that. He started kissing. I was doing her like kissing my neck, and then like my tatas and stuff like that. Then she was going down, right, going down. Then you know, so she told me she didn't like fingering. So of course, I didn't do that to her. She did it because we both didn't like it. We said, "Shut up," right there. But continue to the story is that. So she was doing that, you know. Then after that, that's when she gave me head and stuff like that. It was feeling good, what she was, and stuff like that. Then she stopped. I looked at her, I was like, why you stopped? She said, shh. I got this. So she stopped and then she scissored me. So she scissored me and her was going, and then it's like, we was both screaming and stuff like that, of like coming, or we was actually coming. So after that, I was just like, oh my God. So after that, after we got finished, stuff like that, she went to the bathroom and like washed up a little bit. Then I went to the bathroom and used it and stuff like that, Finished using the bathroom, stuff like that. So a man was like, get you lay down, can I just, eat you out, give you head? So I'm like, okay. So after that, he was eating me out. The head, back then, the head wasn't that good. It was good, but he didn't actually knew what he was doing. That's all I want to say. He didn't knew what he was doing. So it was like kind of off because he was doing it, then put it in. When he put it in, I didn't feel anything. And I'm like, mister, I'm just giving a fake moan because I'm not feeling anything, which I'm not. I'm just like, I don't know. And then it's like, I'm not feeling it. And it's like, I'm looking at it like, good. You have a man that you're not feeling anything, but you call him your husband for what? He's not giving, if he ain't giving me no pleasure, I know he ain't giving me no pleasure. I know he ain't. But it was so bad. Like I said, the only experience we had was me and her. We only had a good experience with just me and her. You could have left your boyfriend out because he was terrible. He was so terrible. He did so bad. Like, it really was. Like, it was not good. It was just like, I'm just sitting here for what? But yes, it was so bad. I'm just like, I don't want to be here no more. But yes, we got finished, though we had to do. And that was it. We had, we did that, stuff like that. But yeah, and also we was kissing and stuff, so he was kissing with me and her, which we did. I did think about that part, which we was. And when I was making her feel good, I did kiss her lips and stuff like that, which I did. But yes, that's basically how, you might say it was a twosome instead of threesome, because his experience was bad, y'all. It was just bad. But yes, that was basically the threesome, y'all. But like I said, it should have been the twosome instead of threesome, because it was so bad because he didn't have no type of experience, no type of game, nothing. I'm just like, I done came all the way to my house for nothing. Like, I felt like I did because it was a wicked space. It was not no good action, no nothing like that. So I was like, yeah, I ain't coming. We not doing this again. And then that's when we got finished. Both of us were out separate. She was like, "Let me go home." I was like, so I got home with my son a couple blocks, and then my girlfriend. How was it? It was good, but her man was terrible, but she was good. He said he was terrible. I was like, yes, I didn't feel anything. He said, oh my God. He said, then how's that up here? I'm like, he had no type of gameplay, which he did. It was horrible, guys. It was horrible. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell a friend, and I forgot, they got home too, but never again about that person. But that's how we met each other. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell a friend, check my channel. There'll be more videos coming, y'all. Yes, so much. So yes, we was doing everything to each other, which we was, but that was back then that, me and her did like each other, but we didn't want to take it on that level. We didn't want to push it up no longer, something like that. And she actually did taste good, y'all. She actually did taste good. She actually did back then. But yes, I haven't seen her since. I haven't, but that's the story time of how that went down. Yeah, but please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell a friend, check my channel. There'll be more story time, more vlogs, more LGBT if y'all want, more everything on my channel. More traveling. Yeah, stay tuned and stay blessed and have a good day, y'all. And yeah, I see y'all on the next story time, y'all. Which I have another story time coming up, but I'm gonna have to re-big up that story time. I am gonna schedule this story time, but that story will be posted very soon. So love y'all. Bye.